We're live. All right, guys. We got a killer episode here for you today. I'm going to go over here and try to pull this up on my computer, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Dave, are you excited?
Super stoked for this one.
Episode here for you today. Yep. Turn me down. There we go. All right. So now that we are officially live, we got a couple people here watching. Dave, go ahead and talk about what we got coming up here in a couple weeks.
A couple weeks. Well, first, October 24th, said last week, we will be in Waynesboro for the Beast Brews and Barbecue. We'll be going live several times. We'll be there from 1 to 4 in honor of the Barbecue Beast on their overall win for best sauce on the planet. They asked us to come and make an appearance. So check us out between 1 and 4 on October 24th. Also, Jake and I will be at the Smoke Showing Steak Cook-Off on November 27th in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Stay tuned for that because we'll be going live, chit-chatting.
Dave's actually going to go live this time with me.
Yeah. You trying to throw me under the bus?
Yeah, because you wouldn't go live at the last one you were at.
I was nervous, I'll be honest.
I get stuck with COVID and you won't go live. So
stay tuned for that.
I got stuff shared up here. Guys, we got probably one of the coolest people in barbecue, one of the biggest names. She is awesome. We'll go ahead and bring her in here, Miss Danielle Bennett of Diva Q.
Hey, guys.
There she is. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you for being on here. This is kind of a very informal podcast. We kind of just chat. That's what it is all about. So we'll start off with how we do every single person we get on here. Daniel, how'd you get into barbecue?
Well, I actually had a corporate career before barbecue, which many people actually don't know about. I actually have double degrees. I have a degree in business administration marketing, and I also have another degree in human resource operations management. I am a certified human resource professional on top of being a marketer and a businesswoman. I did that for 10 years and hated the companies I was working for, loved the people, and was able to stay home. I had 3 children and was able to stay home for a couple of years. And I've always been a very kind of like intense home cook. That's what I call myself, a very intense home cook. So, I was the person that always had all the parties and always, did all the hosting and loved to cook a lot of stuff from scratch, learned from my grandmother more than anybody, and a little bit from my mom, but most of my grandmother. And I had taken a whole bunch of chef classes, like just, random ones and things like that. And a friend of mine called me up and said, "Hey, Dee, I'm going to go and do a barbecue contest. I'm going to judge a barbecue contest." And that was back in 2006. And he's like, we should apply. Well, you should apply for this. You love, meat and grilling and, food in general. And so I judged a barbecue contest for the first time. It was the Canadian National Opens, which teams actually flew in from all over the world. And it was very much Memphis and May style, but it was over 3 days, not 2, 3 days on site and blind box judging. I think it was 8 or 9 categories. It was like it's a crazy amount of food and presentations, and like there were teams literally from all over the world. And so I got to judge it, and luck would have it, because they knew some of the chef classes I had taken and things like that, I was actually asked to go and do the on-site part of it. So it's kind of like in my first year, I was talking about knock it out of the program. And so I judged a whole bunch of barbecue over the course of a few days, and my son was only like 4 months old at the time. And he was a baby, and I'd race home after judging, nurse him, and then go back and finish like that. Like literally, if anybody knew like the actual story, it was crazy because I was like, I think I can do this barbecue stuff. And the reason that I had some really outstanding barbecue, I had some mediocre stuff, and then I had stuff I wouldn't give a dog. Okay. Mm-hmm. And all I was thinking to myself was like, and they win money? Like they win money? Pretty sure I could do this. And so what happened was like 3 days after that happened, 3 days, I actually bought my first smoker. It was a Weber Smoky Mountain, 18-inch Weber Smoky Mountain. And less than 4 or 5 weeks later, I entered my first contest as an amateur backyard, and I came in 3rd out of a whole bunch of teams, and I was hooked. That was it. It was done. And so what happened is that like I said, I'm a little intense. So when I did a project, I go into a project. I don't just read. I don't just do things. So I started traveling all over the United States. I was living in Canada at the time, in Ontario, my hometown of Barrie, Ontario, which is still one of the best places in the whole world to live. And so I was traveling all over. I went to Texas. I went to Kentucky. I went to the Carolinas. I went to Kansas. Went to California. I traveled all on my own dime. And learning from pit masters all over the place. And they thought I was like this totally insane, crazy Canadian woman who literally said, I will do anything to learn from you, basically. And then I started traveling to take some classes with some pit masters that were more established, of course, and ended up being like totally saturated. And in the meantime, because I'd always done public speaking and I'd always done teaching, like in HR, I had, labor relations negotiations. We had, you had to train other managers. I had 174 employees and a $27 million payroll budget. And it was all this kind of stuff. But one of the key things for me was kind of like just continuing that organizational, like learning process, right? Okay, so I've covered off these main areas. Where do I need to learn from next? Because I think if you're going to call yourself a barbecue expert later on in life and a barbecue professional, you don't just get it from textbooks. You don't just get it from YouTube. You really actually need to actually understand what barbecue really is and the whole process. My second barbecue was the Traeger Little Tex. And that was my second one. So I've been using Traegers, and I've owned 60. Since then, I've owned 65 barbecues. Yeah, and most people, I know most people realize, a Traeger. I've partnered with Traeger for many, many years now. And it's been such a blessing and such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful relationship. And I'm really grateful for that. But I think a lot of people forget the fact that, what, you pull up an offset, I got you. You pull up a reverse flow gravity, I got you. I got you on a whole bunch of things, whether it's ceramic or a pellet grill. And I was, thank you for that compliment, whoever just put that. I saw the compliment really quickly. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't just teach the books. And one of the key things for me is that I try to teach people how to cook. You know what I mean? Like not just a recipe. So many people out there these days, they go and they say, hey, buy my shaker, buy my sauce. This is what you have to use. This is where you go. And that's it. I approach things a lot differently. I approach things much more from a meat science standpoint, going, and if anybody's watched my lives, I've said this almost every single live. I'm not going to show up at your house and tell you not to do something. So if you want to put in a layer of, spicy hatch green pepper, hatch green chili pepper, all the power to you. It's your damn house. But don't take it over whatever degrees it should go over, learn how to cut it properly, learn how to do these things. So I try to teach things from a meat science standpoint, and because there's no one right way to barbecue. Everybody thinks that there's one right way, and that's total BS, because there's a million ways to get outstanding results. And I just try to teach people just a variety of different things. And so what happened was that as I was going through my career of learning, so it was literally a career of learning for a couple of years, right? And I'm entering all these little contests that I then moved over to the pro side and thought, well, if I'm going to spend all this money and all this equipment, then I better get my ass in gear and actually go out with the pros, so I actually can figure out if I'm good enough, if my stuff stacks up to everybody else's. And so I'd done that a couple times, and I was very grateful. I was in the Smoke on the Allegheny Mountains contest. You guys might know where that is. It was a beautiful contest, and I ended up heading over there for one of the contests, and I got treated really poorly by some of the people that were there. They're like, "What are you doing here, girl?" Because I literally pulled up with my dad's old landscape trailer, and I looked like the Beverly Hills, and I had the curb, and I had over all my equipment, and the 50 million Rubbermaid totes and everything else. And my folding tables and my folding tents and everything else. I got treated really poorly, and really poorly, going, you're just a wreck. Why are you wasting your time coming all the way down here? And the most satisfying is still to this day, probably next to the Royal and the Jack, the most satisfying contest ever, because I didn't just take one first place. I didn't take two. I took 3 out of 4 categories and GC'd the whole damn thing.
That's awesome.
50 or 60 of some pretty damn good teams. And that's kind of set off the insanity side of the barbecue world, okay, which is competition, that really intense period where, I was competing and driving. Oh my good God. I crisscrossed this country in my F-150, my original F-150, about 5 or 6 times. Okay. From Canada. And did it solo from majority. And then I had sometimes my ex-husband came out for a while. My kids came out for a while. I had some team members that would come out. And the whole thing is it just kind of snowballed. And because I did all that teaching over the years, I don't get nervous about talking in public, clearly. Usually it's getting shut up is usually the And so then I got approached by a whole bunch of TV producers, and I had lots of friends in the production side of things. So we did a few things, did a few projects, and I showed up on a few things. And the last 4 or 5 projects I've turned down because I'm just like over the whole BS reality side of it. And
yeah, we can definitely get into that.
yeah, I'm proud of I'm proud of my show. I'm really proud of that. I shot a show last year with Peg Leg Porker, and I really they didn't pick it up, but I was really proud of that one too. So I'm a lot more selective now. I don't have anything left to prove.
Right,
exactly.
By now I've got skill sets, and that's their problem, not mine. And I just want to share, but I really just want to share it with people. I love teaching more than anything. I love sharing tips and tricks. I love connecting the barbecue dots, and that's what I call it. It's really, truly. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, it was a great show, and it's never coming back. By the way, guys, just to let you know, okay? Because everybody keeps asking me, it's not coming back. I'm over it. Okay.
They were always the good shows, though.
They were good because they were real. And you saw me when I was ugly as sin, like you guys remember my hair was like this big at that time. And you saw me at the end of the contest completely drenched in sweat and sauce and rub and exhausted. And
that's reality, though. That's the real deal.
That's the real deal of it.
And you heard me curse, and you heard me like want to punch a wall at sometimes, and you heard the excitement when I got something that I thought I deserved, and you heard the frustration when I thought, what the hell, like, are you kidding me? I didn't get a call. And I love the fact that it was real. And that's the part that I'm most proud about. I'm just more proud of the fact that we kept it real and it was unscripted. I don't like reading other people's words. It's just not my thing a lot of times. I mean, you have to say certain intro things and whatnot, but you script all your words, you lose yourself. And I'm not about that. And so that's kind of been my mantra for life. Have some integrity, do your own thing, work hard, and hopefully you get paid.
Absolutely. Well, that kind of leads into Dave. You had a really big question you wanted to ask her, and this is actually a really good one when you told me on beforehand.
So we'll go way back.
No.
Way back.
The
Barbecue Pitmasters. I mean, I still watch them today. And
now, hold on. Keep in mind that we call Meyer Mixon Dave's dad around here, so be careful because Dave's pro staff and we got all this other kind of stuff. So just
yeah. But it's, how did that all go upon? I mean,
well, one of the things that people don't realize, I think a lot of times when it comes to Barbecue Pitmasters, there's 2 versions of Barbecue Pitmasters. There's in production and TV, there's game show rules, and then there's reality rules. So in game show rules, which was the first season of Barbecue Pitmasters, one of the key things is that typically in most scenarios, everyone has to be given an equal and fair chance to win the episode. Notice I said in most cases. And so I think that there was a really good attempt there to keep it all up in the up and up and fair and level. And then reality show rules kind of change things because that's where the producers, can decide the outcome. If you guys ever read the credits at the end of any reality show that has a winning component, producers can actually influence and or otherwise decide things. And so things change, and it's they're doing their job. They've got to create drama. They've got to create hype. When you start, and what I always say to people, I don't ever regret doing any of it. I really don't. I knew what I was getting into. I'm not ignorant. But what you have to realize is that anytime you sign any of those reality contract TV appearance rules, they're going to do a shopping contract on you first, which means that they shop your name and your likeness and your abilities around first to get a contract. And then once you sign the second part, they'll lock you in because they don't want any other network to steal you or poach you, right? Or take you. So then you sign a contract for that. Well, in the duration of that, you also have to sign off on all of your rights to editing. Okay. So if you look back at some of I was on Pitmasters quite a few times, also as a judge, as an expert judge. And one of the key things you'll see is that, there were times when I looked like a total bitch. I mean, holy cow, and people literally have sent me hate mail. Like I've had so much hate mail over the years at this point, going, how could you be like this? What you have to realize is that, you're there filming for 16 hours. You lose your cool for 5 seconds out of 18 hours or whatever you're there for.
Oh, okay? Yeah.
And they're not stupid. What are they going to put on TV? The 5 seconds you lost your shit completely. That's what they're going to do.
Exactly.
Why? Because you tuned in and you tuned in, and they're still playing them to this day in Australia, New Zealand, and everywhere else. So there's this loss of control there as well on the results. There's a loss of control on how you're presented. There's a loss of control on the outcome sometimes, no matter what your skill set. But you can't regret any of it. You signed on the dotted line, so you take it. That's it. But I get asked by a lot of people. A lot of my friends in the barbecue industry will say, "Hey, do you think I should do this show?" And then I get that question an awful lot from some of my friends. And my whole thing is like, are you getting paid right now? Do you have a good career? Are you making money?
Mm-hmm.
You are saying yes to all of those things. You may want to reconsider the TV stuff because it can actually hurt you. It can help you and hurt you. And you really do have to make that decision, and that's not easy. Actually, it's not an easy decision. But I think that that comes with time and experience. I'm in this for 14 years now, going on my 15th year. So I think overall, you have to take a look at what your end game is. If you've got a great regular normal job outside of the barbecue field and you like it, and it's satisfying your life, and barbecue is just your side deal. That's one decision. If barbecue is your entire career, which is my entire career, whole other game, right? So you have to make sure that you're lining yourself up, whether it be on, social media or with TV, productions or even podcasts, and say, okay, this is how I'm presenting myself. Is this, is there a level of integrity there that I can live with?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are seeing kind of almost the fakeness of reality cooks, especially with like the American Barbecue Showdown. I've heard a lot of people comment about different things, just little things off that people picked up real quick on, like how some people acted, or some really known people were on there and couldn't figure out how to use their smokers, or just like kind of, you can tell like this person is like a legit awesome cook, and they're on there not knowing how to work their smoker or anything like that.
I'm gonna interrupt you here for a second. Let me explain something to you that literally still shocks me to this day. So I'm a well-known person in the barbecue industry. I'm good with that, okay? But I don't have just skill sets for 4 boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's astounding to me. And I'm telling you, you should. I've never posted any of them. I won't, because they're my friends. But I gotta tell you, some of my friends, God bless them, because they can kick all of our asses at a KCBS or an IBCA or an FBA con. I mean, kick our asses to the corner and back.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't cook anything else. And so it's when I get texts, like I'll post something, on Facebook, or I'll post it on my personal page or whatever, and I'll get a text from one of my big barbecue friends, and they're like, "Okay, I need you to walk me through this." I'm like, dude, it's literally just blank, blank, blank. Like, are you kidding me? You don't know how to do this? This is basic 101 knife skills or whatever. But they're so in tune with focusing on those 4 things. That's why I always enjoyed it. You can see it over the years. I'm a really good barbecue cook. I know I've got some serious skills there. Yeah. However, if you hand me a black box of ingredients, I will annihilate anybody. And it's because it's not just the 4 meats, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's more on the chef side. It's more on the creative side, and that's where I excel more than anything. That and desserts.
The desserts that you post are like, I'm ready to eat it.
Desserts, like if you hand me those, you might as well just pack up and go, because I got this. Dr. Pearl, I thank you. And the thing is that I respect all of my barbecue friends for whatever talents they have. But I got to tell you, I'm like a little over the staged Instagram social media pictures, because they can't cook anything else. And it's the same picture in 15 different ways, I'm just over it. Good luck to them. I know that they're doing well, but I got to cook more than that. I cannot live. That's not how I live. And so that's why, with COVID, it's been kind of an interesting, normally I'm on the road for 275,000 miles. 275,000 miles is how much I traveled last year.
Wow.
I'm a Delta Platinum girl, like I love being on a plane, going somewhere to teach. I love it. I totally love it. Or doing events for Traeger or Duluth or anybody. I love the challenges of all those things. I mean, I literally thrive off them. And this is the longest I've ever been home in 15 years, ever.
But it looks like you've adapted very well to it. Like, I mean, there's a bunch of people. I'm not putting up every comment, but the people are on here saying like the live streams are amazing, and you have done very daggone well with that. And working with social media, like that's what a lot of people have turned to is kind of go on social media. And if you have a good base of that, like you're still thriving. And let me tell you, I need to know how to cook the cookie cheesecake because I was dying when I saw that. Two of my favorite things in the world: chocolate chip cookies and cheesecake.
Yes,
and you had peanut butter in there too. Oh my gosh!
But the reality is this: I loved. You know what I'm loving about the lives, and like here it is. We actually just put up those LEDs today because it was getting too dark here at night to film and things like that. I got them all off right now, but one of the things I love about it is that it is live.
Yep.
I didn't. This is not a videotaped, perfectly staged. I'm going to brush every perfect, sauce. I'm going to, pose that injection needle somewhere. No, this is me actually cooking every day and in real time. Mm-hmm. And, people are saying, well, why don't you have a staged dish? I'm like, because you're at my house and I'm not spending that kind of money on groceries. This is me really cooking what we're eating. Like tonight, we did a jalapeno cheese casserole on the grill with a Ritz cracker topping. And then I did a really simple, gorgeous, seared, certified Angus beef tri-tip. The other day I did an A9, brisket. Last week I did an Escape River Farms brisket. Tomorrow I'm doing 2 tomahawk pork chops with stuffed apples. After that, on the weekend, I'm actually going to do turkey breast because, of course, we're coming up to the holiday season.
Absolutely.
Stuff, but people need to realize that this is stuff that I'm actually cooking. We don't eat it all. Let me make it very clear. The one that I did live the other night with the cheesecake and the chocolate chip cookies, we had neighbors. God bless my neighbors on both sides. Okay, one that has 3 sons to the one side of me, and then of course our local fire department, our local police department. We've helped them in the past. They're going to be getting more packages in the future again. Because to keep that momentum up of people watching, I'm always cooking new stuff, new things. You can cook, and I try to cook like at least 1 or 2 of the big meats every week. So ribs and chicken, or pork and chicken, or whatever. But briskets usually once or twice a month. I'll do a brisket, and I'll trim it up live. It only takes me 4 minutes to trim a brisket from start to finish. Okay.
Yeah.
And people are shocked by that because they think it was staged. I'm like, that's not fast. This is live. I can do it in 4 minutes. Watch me. Yep. That's because I've worked with Traeger for so long, and we've done so many classes in person, the Traeger Shop Class program, that it's allowed me to get my skill set honed even faster over the years. Mm-hmm. And another reason why I don't eat chicken thighs anymore. People were shocked. Like I did the buffalo chicken thighs the other day, and they're gorgeous with the blue cheese, and that was a Traeger recipe. And somebody was asking me on my live, like, why don't you eat chicken thighs? Well, if you there they are. Okay. Mm-hmm. They're gorgeous. They're puffy. I did a competition trim on them. Not quite perfect.
I was going to say that. It looks like competition-esque almost there.
This is my OCD kicking in, though. I'm like, okay, that bottom right one, I should have cut the knuckle in. The left-hand side, oh, damn, girl, you are screwing that up. Why did you not do a little bit more? But you see, everybody else will be like, oh, my God, those look great. Me, all I see is mistakes.
See, that's my hard thing is sometimes when I try to post a picture, it's like, it's a bad angle. I got to take another one. I don't like that. And sometimes I don't even post it because it's like I'm trying to nitpick on something.
And the thing is that here I live in Central Florida, and if you guys can see, it's hot. Like I don't know where your houses are, but I'm in Central Florida. It was over 100 degrees again today. It's still like 80, 90 degrees out here tonight. And we have rain every day. So I actually have to, cook. This is a covered lanai. I've got a really big lanai back here. Mm-hmm. And, so the lighting sucks for everything back here for pictures. So I'm always holding plates and platters of food over my pool because at least the blue will pop the colors.
Yeah.
People look through my phone. They saw like, okay, for that one thigh picture, I'm like, I think I took 30 pictures. I'm like, okay, they all suck. They just suck. Or yeah, my burger. I love that. By the way, that burger was so damn good. I took 2 bites and had to walk the freak away from it.
Oh, you have smashed Wagyu bacon. Like, there's 3 things. That's 3 perfect ingredients. It's almost like chocolate chip cookies, cheesecake, and peanut butter. Like, you can't go wrong with smashed Wagyu bacon.
Yeah, I mean, especially bacon. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Like we did like just the other week. We did. I taught people how to make bacon. Bacon is a cakewalk to me. And, I walk them through how to make 4 different types of bacon. So I think it comes back once again full circle to that. that skill set, if you're going to call yourself a pit master, you might want to expand out just a little bit more than the 4 boxes. You know, like
Sure.
it's fun to do. It's interesting. There you go. That's my Hatch green chili. But you got all of them in there. Oh, you did the whole post. Nicely done, guys. Kind of it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan, and so like the guy that pops all this stuff up, I try to be like the guy that pulls everything up real quick. I got to make some of this bacon.
And so if you notice, all my recipes are handwritten because that's actually a creative thing for me. So some people can go on their laptop and they can type out the recipe and everything else. I actually can't do that. For some reason, when I'm working through recipes, and by the way, it's usually the second or third revision when I'm posting it, okay? For me in my creative process, I actually need something organic. And it's just like even books. I don't like reading them online either. I like real books. I need to hand write out all my recipes because then I can actually visualize the recipe coming together. Then I go make it once, then I make it again live, and that's how we kind of work through the process. And a lot of times sometimes also I've done this recipe 100 times, but I've never written it down. So for example, like tonight's corn casserole with the tri-tip that's over on my Facebook. I haven't posted it on Instagram yet. That recipe tonight, I've made that recipe, oh my God, easily 40 or 50 times. I had never written it down till tonight. Because you know why? I'm one of those cooks. You know what goes together. You know how things, get thickened and whatnot, and you know how it comes together. But then I have to force myself to write it down because, people want the recipe. So I literally started posting my handwritten recipes and people love them. One lady, she sent me a screenshot. She literally has every single one I've done for the last 7 months.
Wow.
In a file folder. And I'm like, damn. That's pretty cool.
That's good though. It makes you feel like you're doing,
yeah,
people are there connecting with you and things like that.
It's always one of the most rewarding things. Like somebody went ahead and actually I've had a few people have already made that cheesecake chocolate chip cookie dough recipe, and they've already gone ahead and made it, and they tag me in their pictures. That's something, or my ultimate crispy wing recipe, which nobody has ever beaten for crispiness on a Traeger, because the texture has everything to do with meat science. There is something extraordinarily rewarding that gives back to me on a daily basis when people go and make your recipes, okay? Because you're helping them feed their families. You're helping them have a better barbecue experience. And, there was one day I was doing I think it was the breakfast casserole with the biscuits. And it was just like literally a Saturday morning. And I'm like out here going, okay, what am I making for breakfast? I'm just going to do a basic casserole. One of the ones I actually did on the road doing barbecue contests. It was a potluck breakfast basically, and literally the reason we actually ended up putting the biscuits around the outside is because we didn't want to wash another tray or, clean up another pan. And so I popped it up on Facebook and people lost their minds. I couldn't believe how much traffic it got. I'm like, this is a basic store-bought biscuit. There it is right there. People lost their minds online. That one there got 1,400 likes on Instagram, but it literally got 28,000 views and shares and page reach, either 28 or 68, I can't remember, on my Facebook channel. I'm like, seriously, this is a basic ass casserole. So I just literally we would make something like this at a competition, right? And then we say, hey guys, stop by for breakfast.
Yeah, that looks delicious.
You know what I mean? But there's nothing special about it. There you go. You got all the. Oh, there's my pastrami. Pastrami is not, by the way.
There we go. No, that's not pastrami. Where are we hiding out there?
And there's my bacon bomb there. Bacon bombs are awesome too.
Yeah, that bacon bomb looks legit.
Bacon bombs win. I've been doing those were in my first cookbook. Yeah, bacon bombs, because how do you make burnt ends better or brisket better? You add bacon. Of course you do.
That's right.
So I love the creativity, and I love the fact that I get to share that creativity on Facebook. And it's not easy. And, you got to take the hate mail. You got to take the haters. You got to take the trolls. You got to take all that crap with it.
Oh, they're all going to be out there.
Yeah, there's so much to be said for how rewarding it is just to connect with people. And it's awesome. I love sharing. But I got to tell you, funny story. When we were doing that biscuit one, like I said to you, I live in Florida. It's damn hot this year. Crazy hot. And I had brought out the biscuits and everything else. One of the containers exploded. I think it was that live. While it was live, I think I jumped about 4 feet back here. That was pretty funny. But that's one of the cool things about lives. Like if you screw up, everybody's going to see. It is what it is. You got to roll with it, right? Yep. And if things sloshed out of bowls or whatever. We're not doing another take. I'm live. It is what it is. This is like how we actually cook at home. And I also like to teach people how to do their own rubs and sauces because, I mean, there's awesome store-bought stuff out there. There's so much stuff out there. But you know what? It's really good if you want to know how to build your own, then have some basic recipes to riff off of or whatever. Yeah. It's all
Did you see that comment that says talk about the death by chocolate recipe?
Oh, yeah. That is.
I haven't done. Oh, God. I just turned on the comments, by the way. I had it hidden. Hey, everybody. I see a whole bunch more comments now. Holy crap on a cracker. Death by Diva has won 26 or 28 perfect 180 scores. I have meat perfect 180s too, but everybody talks about the desserts. And I kind of ran with it for a long time because it was still winning and I couldn't see any point in changing it until it didn't win anymore. True. So Death by Diva is cheesecake, chocolate, caramel, stuffed strawberries, more chocolate, a lot of whipped cream and some goodness, and maybe some bacon every once in a while. Yeah. And sometimes I smoke pecans with that. Like I've changed it up a couple times. So, but that's thousands and thousands of dollars I've won with that. And I used to call it gas money. That's what I used to call it because I'm always traveling. The actual recipe is actually in my cookbook. Yeah, I actually posted the whole thing. So that's like, one of the things is that's one of the there it is right there, Death by Diva.
Oh,
little connections. That is pretty impressive. When I have a podcast, I need to consult with you because that's pretty awesome.
Hey, bring it on.
Basically, one of the key things for me is just if you look at my Instagram, we eat around the world. I eat around, sometimes I'm making Korean food, sometimes I'm making, Vietnamese, sometimes I'm making Italian or Greek. And the reason is being from Canada, I was like, 1 hour to Toronto and I ate like that normally. Like I didn't just eat Americana or North American food. I eat around the world. And so because, I'm familiar with, za'atar or, sumac or nigella seeds or all these other things that here are very unusual, right? And not so common. I love introducing those too. And then saying to people, you can get away with just salt and pepper, but let me show you how to make it better.
Absolutely.
A little more flavorful, And then, it's also things like, I love doing game meats. I hunt. So, I mean, one of the things is I hunt and I fish. I love both of those things as well. So for me, it's having an opportunity just here's what I really eat. Here's my life. And, we try to share as many recipes as possible and just connect people and connect their barbecue dots. And that's the thing you can do. So it's always a good thing. Always good.
Nothing like some fresh venison.
Oh, fresh venison. What's funny is that's coming up next week. I've got I got a couple of back straps and I've got a couple of other things that are
We used
awesome.
to bring them to Christmas parties. The back straps. I used to wrap it in asparagus and cheese. Oh, they were always a hit.
I did the QDMA, which is the Quality Deer Management Association. I did an event up with them in Pennsylvania. It was really cool. I've been cooking game meats my whole life. And I hadn't actually gone physically hunting because it just never worked out. So we went up there last year and I finally got to go and I've got my own crossbow and all that. And, one of the cool things is that I actually showed the guys, here's these experienced hunters. Once again, they've got their go-to recipes, right?
Yep,
they don't have
exactly.
box. And so we had some axis and we had some elk and we had some antelope and we had some venison. And I was showing them some I have this blueberry balsamic kind of like rosemary reduction sauce that goes killer with all game meats because blueberries and blackberries always pair well with game meats, right? And I was showing them. Then they asked me to come do an event. They actually asked me to come. I went up to Georgia to do one of their conferences. Actually, they're like, "Could you please come show us a couple more things to cook?" And I'm like, "Sure." So we had some fresh shoulders, and I actually did a pulled shoulder taco for them.
Oh, one of the best things.
Forever.
One of the best things I ever got to be a part of a buddy of mine. He's from deep in West Virginia. We got a deer and did a whole deer on his big. He had like a whole pig roaster. We did a whole deer, but we stuffed the loins with sausage, covered it in bacon, and put peppers and onions, and injected it with Evan Williams Kentucky bourbon and maple syrup. And I've never, ever, ever been able to recreate that. You get a piece of the loin, a piece of sausage, a piece of bacon, and some pepper and onion, and pop it in there. We've never been able to recreate that. It was the best thing Ever.
And so that's fun stuff to do, and it's delicious, and it feeds a lot of people, and it's ethical. And I always say to people, you know what? I love eating meat. I just want to know where it came from, and I want to know it was killed as humanely as possible, and I want to take care of my meats, and not waste it. Never waste. I hate food. I hate food waste more than anything. I hate it. There's too many people in this country that are hungry. It's not really technique.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
so I enjoy that challenge as well. Like, sometimes I'll do spatchcock chicken and I'll show people, there you go. That was me fishing last week with my buddy. We were with Huntitarian and we caught a whole bunch of reds. We way caught over. So that's a perfect example of me not liking waste. So, we limit out at 2 each. And one of the key things is we caught, I think 11 or 12. We took 2 only for all 3 of us, because in all honesty, it was only 3 of us eating. We don't need any more. My freezer is already full of other meat. Let somebody else take that home,
Absolutely.
Don't waste it. Just don't waste it. And that's all fun stuff, right? It's just like normal barbecue and grilling, goodness. And it's not staged, and it's not Instagram perfect, but it is my perfect life. So how about that?
It's not all. It's not all. A lot of it's meat and desserts, because I'm scrolling through here and I already ate dinner and I'm starving again. But like even the zucchini fritters here, like that's
anytime
looking.
One of the key things is I know that these posts are not going to be liked very much. They're not. I know that immediately. People like to see red meat. People like to see desserts. But anytime I put a vegetable up, by the way, those things are freaking awesome.
I'm definitely going to try these.
That's some crispy goodness, and I'm all about crispy goodness. I love the crispy bits. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
And, but anytime you go and you do, you do any vegetables, I know they're not going to be tried unless you wrap them in bacon. We did carrots with bacon a couple years back. We did the asparagus with bacon a couple years, but all the traditional, kind of veg, you can do that. Additionally, like I love parsnips and stuff like that. So, Thanksgiving's coming. So I love to do smoke roasted parsnips. There's a ton of veggies out there. That is, honest to God, I could eat that dish every single week. That is in my ratatouille.
Oh.
Yeah. And my grandfather, I have a very mixed background, ethnic wise. My grandfather was French. My grandmother was Polish. On the other side, we are American and English and Canadian. So I'm literally Russian, French, Polish, English, American, and Canadian, of course. Okay.
Wow.
So it's quite the mix of dishes. So sometimes, I'll be making a Polish dish for my grandmother, or a ratatouille. My grand-père, my grandfather, would definitely approve of that one. Or, we're coming into holiday season, so I always do French Canadian tortillas, meat pie. Every year I do at least a dozen of them. We do kruszczyki, which is a Polish pastry. So it's like all these different influences from all over the place.
That's awesome.
And it's awesome because, it doesn't give you just a linear kind of path of food. It's literally all over the place.
Yes. That's just the wide variety of food is just amazing. That's like my wife. She loves to eat. She's all about something different.
Yeah. And, I'm one of those people. I think one of the coolest things that I have always had the opportunity to do, I love grocery stores. So my barbecue best friend is Matt Griner, Southern Q. My barbecue boyfriend. We have been friends for so many years, and he laughs his ass off because it does not matter where I am in the world. I could be in Norway. I could be in Amsterdam, Australia, New Zealand. I could be in the Turks and Caicos, Bahamas, wherever, Jamaica. I will find a grocery store. Okay. Part of my deal in life is that I love grocery stores, okay? And different ones, okay? I do. I totally love grocery stores. Some women like shoe shopping. I love grocery shopping more than I will literally grocery shop every day. If I could, I would, because I love seeing new ingredients. And so I'm one of those people that walks up and down the aisles looking for stuff I've never seen before. If there's a vegetable, if there's a cut of meat, if there is a fruit that I've never seen, I buy it. And then I come home and I research the crap out of it. And then I'll cook a couple of different dishes just so that's how I learn. That's how I absorb. I've got to actually be doing things. That's why I traveled so much when I first started my barbecue career, because I didn't want to just read about it. I didn't want to just look at videos. I wanted to actually experience, well, this is how you run an Old Hickory. This is how you run a Lang. This is how you run a Big Green Egg. This is how you run, all of the Traegers that I have now. And I absorb and I learn much better that way. So it's kind of fun.
It's always better hands-on.
One of my Texas buddies is on here.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on here. So this has been asked twice, completely off topic. but someone's asked twice, favorite hockey team.
Toronto Maple Leafs till I die.
I don't know anything about sports outside of barbecue, so I really can't say much about that.
This is officially my team roster for anybody who cares, okay? I will be a Toronto Maple Leafs fan first and foremost until I die. I will never, ever root for Montreal Canadiens just because it's Montreal. And the Leafs in Montreal just no. I will always, always, always root for also the Las Vegas hockey team because I just love their entire enthusiasm. They are such an aggressive team, and I love it. But Toronto Maple Leafs hands down. Favorite baseball team, Blue Jays, first and foremost. Second, Houston Astros, by far. Those are my two teams. Football, I'm a Buffalo Bills girl through and through.
Wow, so just like your food, you're all over the place with your sports team.
Strategic, you have to understand. Okay, so right before COVID, I was actually looking at buying a second house in Texas. I have one here in Florida. I wanted to buy a small little place within 1 hour of Houston. Because I love Texas so much. And at some point in the future, I will. Just right now, COVID, it's not a good idea for me. Right. So I've literally put the brakes on that. It will happen in the future, though. I will own another house in Texas. So I've been watching the Astros for years, and I've always enjoyed, different things. And I love going to live events. I'm not a big TV person. Those quizzes you always see on Facebook, like how many shows have you watched? I'm always the lowest number because I don't very much. I'd rather literally spend the night cooking. No joke. I'll binge on things, but I don't I was never one of those show people like it's Tuesday, I gotta watch this. It's Wednesday, I gotta watch this.
Right.
My life. I'd rather live life than watch somebody else live it. And that's how kind of I rule my life. And then the Buffalo Bills, though, let me explain the Buffalo Bills Association, because that is a whole other world. So in Canada, where I'm from, in Ontario, which is right near Toronto, we don't have an NFL team. The closest team for me growing up was the Buffalo Bills. And so that is why I am, Bills Mafia. I'm a part of the team. So that's I do. We're loving our teams and hoping that we can see some more events. I mean, it's challenging for everybody now, right?
It's hard.
Absolutely. It's tough.
It's been tough. I mean, the whole COVID thing, how has that played in your year? I know a lot of people, I know Jake and I, we both had our years playing, and 2020 was going to be this, and it's like, it's just, what has that done for you?
Yeah, someone gets picked up by Myron Mixon. One of us wins a saw blade. Yeah, it's been a pretty rough year.
I didn't say it was rough. I just said it was different. There was nothing rough about it. It's been a good year, but it wasn't what I expected, but I'll take it.
Listen, I'm one of the things that I'm constantly reminded when, especially on the days, I think we've all had them where we're feeling low and shit. And seriously, are we not over this by now?
No, yeah.
And all politics aside, because I won't touch that. Okay. I think we have a responsibility to each other to take care of each other and to try to protect ourselves and to do the best we can. Mm-hmm. One of the challenges is that I was scheduled to do another 50 classes on the road. That's a lot. Okay.
That is a lot.
Yeah, kidding. Holy cow.
That's normal for me.
That's great.
I actually do more than 50 traditionally in a year. And so I had just gotten off a plane. I've already been in New Zealand and Australia at the very beginning of the year. I had literally just gotten off the plane, and of course everything was shut down. I literally got back into the country right at the right time. In all honesty, another week or two, I would have been stuck in Australia. No joke. That's it.
Now, would there have been anything bad with being in Australia and cooking? Because that is the hot spot now with barbecue. So just saying, Jess Proud left it, so it can't be that great, but it's not that bad either.
I have so many friends in Australia and New Zealand. I try to go every year now and do events for them. For Traeger, I just come back from Auckland, and all of that really was great. And having that experience, and everything shut down. And so you're looking at these, because I'm on contracts with people, right? Diva Q is, I know everybody calls me Diva. My name is Danielle, but everybody calls me Diva. Diva Q right here is an actual corporation.
Yeah.
I've got trademarks. I've got a variety of different things and consulting services that I offer to companies and businesses and restaurants on recipe compilations and professional recipe writing and all of those things. So you kind of look at your contracts going, okay, so I was required to show up at 5 events with this contract. So you get on the phone and you start figuring out, okay, can we still make this contract work? How can we make it work for the year so that everybody still gets, their exposure that they're looking for? How do we rework, the year to make sure we're still fulfilling our contractual obligations? And then in addition to that, can we find some new opportunities to have income generated, from barbecue experiences, right? And so it's been an interesting, year. I mean, this used to be part of my backyard. Okay, so my backyard lanai. So yeah, hey guys, give me a little bit. Okay, so there is the other part of my backyard. So there's my table, my outside kind of gear. There's another filming section way over there in that corner. Gregor's, and then across from all this is the pool and my life. Well, now we had to build this entire outside kind of filming area so that we can go live with it. There's a couple $1,000s worth of equipment here. There's the table that I'm on right now. Literally, I've got a $1,600 Husky cabinet I'm sitting in front of right now that I needed because I need to have an outdoor kitchen, and this made a lot more sense, and I love it because I can move it anywhere, right? So it made sense in putting a permanent. I looked at doing a permanent outdoor kitchen. I'm like, I'm always moving different grills in and out, in and out, in and out. I'm sometimes filming over there, and sometimes I'm filming over there. And so you literally, it's literally one of those things where you go, okay, so all right, Diva Q is a household name for barbecue. How do we make sure it stays there? How do we make sure it still grows? How do we make sure that we're continuing on this upward path of growth? And what my determination of success is, and from other people, I'm not that money hungry, and that kind of surprises people. I'm experience hungry. I love experiences more than anything.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I've never, kind of aggressively gone after the sauce or rub market. I mean, I've got a sauce coming out in a few weeks, but I push back on all those things because I'm like, you know what? I'm really happy with my life, and I don't define my success from dollar signs. I never have. I never will. Life is too short for that, in my opinion. Whatever works for other people, that's great.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't work for me. And so I had to figure out a way where I'm going to be satisfied, because literally I'm going batshit crazy some days here because I've been in one place for too long. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you have to understand, for somebody who is used to, like when you pull up to the MCO Orlando airport and every baggage handler knows your name, you spend a little too much time at the airport. Okay.
Right.
Okay? So what I did was I took a look at, so obviously at the beginning we're like, okay, this is only gonna last for a month or two. Yeah, okay, were we all wrong?
Yeah, exactly. Sure, we're still in the doggone thing.
So what am I gonna do for the next, year? So we have meetings with Traeger, we have meetings with Duluth, and we try to figure out everything. And then I said, okay, well, I'm gonna be home, I'm gonna write recipes. So in the last 6-7 months, I've written 400 recipes.
Which that would definitely going to benefit once you get out there for your classes and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, so that's the first thing. I've written over 400 recipes now, and they're all from scratch. And so you can see, I haven't showcased even a third of what I've done. And then we started the daily lives because people literally just wanted to know what I was cooking at home because they wanted to know how to cook. When I started, my Instagram page has always been really strong. We've been well over 1 million page views every month, well over, like, for forever. However, my Facebook account only had 24,000 followers. It wasn't very much, and it was like, maybe 150 to 200,000 page views a month, and that was it, because Facebook was kind of stagnating for a lot of us. And so what I've done is I grew that to we hit 88,000 yesterday, and we hit 1.6 million page views last week, month. So so it means that people are really looking at that stuff, right? And that means that my contracts, my clients who I care about, and I've got the really good established relationships with, are still having their value intrinsically put towards their value, their template. Because if you're going to be an ambassador or what a champion of a product, first and foremost, you actually have to use the damn stuff. Take the check thing doesn't work for me. I was wearing Duluth clothing before Duluth approached me, which is kind of cool. I've worn their leggings and their tank tops, and you guys have seen, my typical black shirt and black tank top going to the gym. That's always
they say that Duluth stuff is. I don't have any of it.
It's awesome.
And they say this stuff is good stuff.
It's good quality, and it's got a great name brand. And same thing with Traeger, right? The #1 pellet grill in the world annihilates everybody else by far. and we own 5 of our own pellet mills. I mean, like that's kind of cool. And having that saturation of the market and being on such an amazing team there. And then I have other clients, like Hormel Natural Meats, ThermoWorks. I've got some other clients as well. And, you work with them, Maine Lobster, and there's a variety of things that come up, all year round. And you just have to make sure that your contracts are working well, and you have to make sure that they are taken care of. And you better damn well learn to adjust really damn fast in this environment, because if you stay, you can say goodbye to your career.
Absolutely.
Especially with all this, I mean, it's very unexpected. I mean,
this was all, and the other thing I would say is that one of the biggest things is that I live without debt, other than a mortgage. Okay. I live without debt. I don't run up debt ever. Zero. That's awesome. And that's really important to me, because that means that all my bills are paid and I am okay, and if for some reason something ended, I'd still be okay for at least another year or two. So, that's all. One of the key things for me is living life as integrity filled, principled as I possibly can. That has hurt me financially, but morally, I'm pretty happy with it.
That's really all that matters. That's really all that matters.
Nobody else's opinion matters. And when it comes right down to it, okay, if you're happy with your life, then really nobody else's opinion really matters. They're Absolutely. Not living it.
Not at all. Not at all. So do you have
Dave?
What's that? Yeah, great underwear. They're the great commercials too, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, that's good. Them commercials, I love them.
On the planet, buck naked for the win always.
That's right.
That dude that does those commercials, man, he's a rock. Oh, that's just so great. I love him.
Oh yeah, he's they're on. Dude,
there he is. Jeez, talking about last 9 minutes, he wants to get on.
Jeez, you piece.
Man.
So do you have any plans to do any competitions once this all opens up again? Are you going to do any SCAs, any KCBSs, or you're in Florida, so Florida barbecues? Are you going to get back into that ring at all, or are you going to pretty much stay with cooking and doing Traeger stuff?
I did a couple SCAs last year. I came 95th out of 425 teams at their World Championship over in Fort Worth. That's actually a anniversary of that today. My goal was really for my first SCA, please let me come in the top 100. I came in 95th. I was happy as hell about it.
Yep.
Quite a few months back, I did an SCA here in Florida. I came in 8th overall. And so that was pretty awesome.
Someone said they seen you at the shed.
Oh yeah, that was last year. It was awesome. Yep. We had a great time. I enjoyed it. I think I came in like 38th. It was not a good score. So yeah, hopefully get to go back and do those again. It all depends on circumstances. I am a mask wearing, kind of person that has now had 4 people die from COVID that I know personally.
Wow.
And I think what happens is that I take it really seriously. I'm not telling anybody else how to live their life, but please, for the love of God, wear a mask outside. That's all I'm asking. Just trying to take care of other people. What you do in your own home is your business. What you do in your own business is your business. But I just think that when you're in public, please wear your mask. That's all I'm asking. And I think it hits differently when you know people that have died. I really
Absolutely.
do.
Oh yeah. I mean,
taking it a lot more seriously. You understand the long-term ramifications about what can happen, even if you get a mild case. I have like 9 or 10 of my friends that have had it now.
Oh, I'll go ahead and say on the podcast, my family and I just got over it. Literally 2 weeks ago, tested positive. It hit 6 different people, 6 different ways. None of us had any fevers or anything like that, but loss of taste and smell, which is why my barbecue lacked for a couple weeks. But
that's your excuse when you're going with on that one. That's
my excuse. Yeah. I can't taste it any other time. So it was the best barbecue I ever had. But it is kind of crazy how it's something to take seriously, but at the same time, it does change everyone differently.
And that's the thing, So you guys, we were talking off before this. I'm at the gym every morning at 4 a.m. And that's one of the benefits of being home is that I actually got a new trainer and I'm lifting more weights than I've ever lifted before because I've been able to go. So I go to the gym 5-6 times a week, and I'm doing squats with a hex bar at 180 pounds,
Nice.
And doing, strength squats and doing a lot of weightlifting. I haven't lost a lot of weight, but I've definitely gained a ton of muscle.
Muscle weighs more than fat, so.
That's all we keep telling myself. So, health wise, that's been actually a really cool opportunity to be able to do that because I've been home. I'm, never had this opportunity this consistently to go to the gym. And, it's always a challenge. I just, I like the 4 a.m. because there's very few people there. And
I always like working out at the gym early in the morning. It gets your day started. You feel better.
My whole day is set right then, I feel good. And then my day's on track then. So, I love seeing that. You can see it in one of my last pictures I did. I don't post a lot of pictures of thank you very much. I don't post a lot of pictures of myself on my Instagram. I'm not that narcissistic.
Right.
Every social media manager I've had says you don't post enough pictures of yourself. So I'm trying purposely to post once a week now. And the last picture with the Duluth shirt, you can definitely see how big my muscles are on my arms. That is no joke now. And I was kind of proud of my trainer. Looked at it and he goes, damn. He goes, I could definitely see see, that's muscle now. Okay. Which is cool. By the way, that's the same shirt I'm wearing tonight.
And there's bacon. There's donuts with bacon. I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and work out for donuts with bacon. Like, geez, ew.
That was a mulled apple cider whiskey bacon donut. I did.
I love donuts and bacon. I would crush them.
Yeah, they turned out really well, but it takes a while because you got to mull the apple cider first, and then you do it with. There it is, right there. Even that, just on the holiday time, that literally is Woodford apple cider, all the spices, some ginger, and we smoke it for like 2, 3, 4 hours, whatever.
Wow.
That's a recipe that I kind of modified over the last couple of years, on my grill. And then I'm like, I had literally, once again, it's all about no food waste, right? And I had it in the fridge going, what am I going to do? I cannot drink that much. Okay, this is not good. That is like so much whiskey in there. I'm trying to be good and not drink too much. And so it was in the fridge, and you have to understand my garage, I have a double door commercial freezer. I have a double commercial fridge. I have another standalone freezer, and then I have my other regular fridge on the inside. And they're all full of meats and projects that I'm working on. And literally this container was like there. I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do this? I'm like, okay, do I do a bundt cake? Do I do like a loaf pan? I'm like, no, people like donuts. Let's do donuts.
And then people like donuts add bacon to the donuts too.
Exactly.
I'm literally I'm looking at the donut, and I'm like, needs bacon. So I gotta go make a batch of pig candy, and then I thought, oh, wait a second. I just got that hot honey from Aldi that's like $3.99 and it's amazing. And why don't I tell people about that? And I'm not sponsored by them, but it's a real product that I thought, for $3.99, it's an excellent product. And so literally creativity is like literally me just at home going, all right, this is what I feel like eating today. Okay.
That's awesome. That is
awesome.
so awesome.
Do you have any advice for anyone that looking into getting into barbecue or, doing what you do or competitions? What advice would you give someone that's wanting to get into this hobby, lifestyle, whatever you want to call it?
I think if you're doing the competitions, I'm going to give a piece of advice to people because I see a lot of stupid people these days. We make some big mistakes in competition barbecue. And the first thing is they go into debt to do it.
Yeah.
I think that's a big mistake. You see, when I started, everybody showed up with 10 by 10 pop-ups and trailers, just basic stuff. And now guys are pulling up with Prevost and, $60,000 RV.
Yeah, I see these things pull up. It's like, shoo, come on.
The other thing that I'm seeing is that people are so stressed that they can't win a call because they've got a payment now, right, on their vehicle. And that's stressing them out. And that's not a good thing. So I would say that unless you want an actual career in barbecue, okay, chill out a bit. Okay. It's just a barbecue contest. Have fun with it because that was the original intention. We were getting together to have contests. And I mean, I'm only doing it for 14 years and I can tell you the vibe is completely different. And I think that's the reason why I like the SCA now a lot. I mean, I'm a prime member of KCBS, nothing against KCBS. I love KCBS. They're good for everything. Josh, exactly. Nothing wrong with that. But get a Traeger too, just letting you know.
Josh has a pellet grill. I forget. I think he might have a Green Mountain grill, but I don't remember. I see him post about it all the time.
But the thing is that the original thing was that people were having a good time. We used to have potlucks and we used to get together on Fridays and have a couple cocktails and everybody would turn on their food on Saturday and we'd actually all congratulate each other and actually mean it. Okay. Mm-hmm. And now, you don't see that very much. You don't see that nearly as much. And so what I love about SCA is like my second contest out, I literally went and bought a lifetime membership. I'm like, you know what? This is good for barbecue and grillers in general. What I love thing was that I saw a lot of kids again. I saw a lot of families coming out, and it didn't cost them $3,000 in equipment to go out and do it.
No.
My SEAs, I don't bring anything but a Traeger. It's actually that one right back. It's the Ranger. That's the Ranger I did my contest with. And so one of the things is that, you can have different grills in SCA as well. And I love the fact that SCA, the community, is one of the most supportive, helpful, considerate. And I love that fact. I love the fact that it's like that. And it's the SCA feeling that you get when you go to their contest now is what I got many years ago in KCBS. The same kind of vibe. And there's nothing wrong with KCBS contests. I don't want anybody thinking I'm bashing. I'm not. If that's what you want to do, you go do it. Who knows? I may show up at a couple in the future. I mean, I have no clue at this point about what's going on timeline wise, But, I think everybody should just chill out a bit, have a good time. If you want a career in barbecue, first things first, always, always, always do yourself some legal favors first. If you have a barbecue name, I don't care what's written on the KCBS, registry. I really don't care about any of that kind of stuff. Okay. What I care about is your legal rights. One of the key things for me is when I first started my career being a business person, I trademarked everything. Everything. So trademarking is not just some cheap online service, that's it. It takes 18 to 24 months to actually get a USPTO trademark. And it's not just the name, you actually have to do it in multiples of classifications. The other thing is that if you have anything, let's say, so Diva Q, this whole logo is trademarked. Hold on, bad hair. This one is the next one, #BarbecueLife. That one's coming. But I've also already trademarked Life's Too Short for Bad Barbecue many years ago. And that is your legal recourse on protecting your brand. That people skip a lot.
Yeah.
And then they come by 6 years later, 10 years later, 5 years later and say, but you can't use that name. You want to make a bet? Watch me. Because that other person could go ahead and use it. Because if you don't actually do the legal trademarking, it doesn't matter if your KCBS name is registered with KCBS. They're not the governing body for patents and trademarks.
No.
So I think from a legal standpoint, you need to do that. Also, set yourself up with a company properly so that if you are providing services and you pay taxes, you should pay taxes, pay them locally. But also then you have an opportunity to administrate your expenses and learn about them and have a really good accountant to do that. It's worth it to spend a couple thousand at the beginning to save yourself a few tens of thousands later on in life.
Absolutely. That's great advice.
Everybody will tell you sauces and rubs and everything, but that's like the reality, everybody. You really should do that.
Sure. Makes sense. You got to get up at 7 hours, so we're going to let you get together or do a live stream or do something here in a little bit of time. But thank you so much for being on here. We really appreciate it. And
appreciate it very much.
If you're ever in the area doing a class, for sure. I know there's a store down the road in West Virginia from me that they're big in Traeger or Orsini's. They got a bunch of.
I thought at PJ's place.
What's that?
I know PJ. PJ Orsini.
Yeah, PJ Orsini.
He's got great taste in bourbon. I've been to his house. We have drank bourbon together. I'm very much a fan of PJ Orsini's. He's got a great store. He's got a great staff. But his taste in bourbon is exemplary.
Yeah. So hopefully I get to run into you down there. And Dave, you can come down from New Jersey and come in down there as well.
Absolutely.
But for sure, we'll have to keep on the lookout. So Danielle, thank you so much. Have a great evening. And we'll look forward to seeing your live streams every single day here.
All right, guys. Be blessed. Stay safe, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So that was wrapped up with Diva Q. We got another big guest coming on next week. Mr. John Lindsay is going to be on the show next week. And we're very excited for that.
Super.
Yeah.
All the SBA people, get ready for that one.
#Arcasipi combo.
Yes.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, we're going to probably announce that next week and push that pretty daggone hard. But if we sound a little different, Dave and I got these cool little toys this week. So we might do a little bit of ASMR here sometime too. Opening up some barbecue beef sauces. So
yeah, that's right in the head.
Yeah, I know, but
that's great.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. we'll see you next week with John Lindsay.
Stay tuned.